Yeah, what's going on? Yeah. Quan John in the building. Motivational Motives. We got Portia Mystique. Say what up, what up?
Hi.
Yeah. So another installment, Motivational Motives, where we speak about inspirational and thought-provoking topics within the culture. Today, we're gonna keep it relevant and we're gonna talk about New Year's resolutions. How you
Cheers.
feel, how you feel about that term that I coined? New Year's resolutions.
I feel like the term is fine, but it has become so cliche that I don't even like hearing it.
Cliche, and she's right. I totally agree. You know what I mean? It's well, when people say, well, when let's say they start talking about it around December 10th, December 12th, December 15th, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they start talking about it. They say, hey, you know what? On January 1st, I'm gonna get my life together. I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
stop meat. I'm gonna start saving more money. And fraudulent. You know what I mean? Why you got to wait 3 weeks to start doing something? Why do you have to give something of such epic importance a date? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I mean, I'm a firm believer that when it comes to mine, we should start the progress in the process of bringing it to fruition. You know what I'm saying? So I think the whole idea of a New Year's resolution, I think is self-defeating in a sense, for real.
Yeah. I feel like, okay, here's the thing about New Year's resolutions. Like, number one, we usually come up with some New Year's resolution based on, like, maybe a poor character trait or a bad habit that we had throughout the year. We're going to be like, oh, okay, in the new year, I'm going to stop doing this. And it's like, I get the idea of it that you're saying that, for the new year, you want to be a better person. You want to fix whatever flaws or issues that you had. But to say January 1st, I'm going to stop, that's like stopping cold turkey. If you had a bad habit, no matter what it was, if you are eating things you're not supposed to be eating, you're not just going to stop on January 1st and then think you're going to last the whole year that way. That's not how that works. Any habit, you have to work yourself back
Thank you.
slowly.
Thank you.
And even like going to like actions, taking actions, like, okay, starting January 1st, I'm gonna start going to the gym. Yeah, you actually might go to the gym on January 1st, but if you didn't do anything from October to December to plan for that, to actually maybe map out a schedule, buy your gym membership before the new year, like all that stuff, get your gym clothes ready. If you start, doing little bit by little bit, then by the new year, you actually might be able to do that stuff. I just think it's bullcrap. It's a cliche.
You know what? I totally agree to an extent. You know what I mean? I agree. If you want to break a certain habit, and that's a great segue to my new book that will be published in about a month, which I'm the author of, and Portia Mystique is going to write the forward to and edit and format it and do what she do, put her magic and spice on it. It'll be out, I would say, maybe in a month's time. Habitual Habitat, an urban sermon. You know what I mean? So that's where we discuss the idea of habits and where they come from. You know what I mean? But back to the topic at hand, you're right. Habits, they have to be progressively taken away and alleviated. You know what I mean? But I believe that, let's say I say, you know what? I want to stop smoking. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Stop smoking on a particular day. You know what I mean? Know why? Because the action of smoking or any bad thing is a mindset. Okay?
Right.
You know what I mean? It starts here. And people think just because they say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna stop or start doing this on this particular date. 9 times out of 10, they might stop that date, January 1st. They might stop January 2nd. Watch when their kids get the mad. They're gonna light that cigarette up and justify the fact why they're smoking. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I think a more productive way of alleviating a habit is basically letting it alleviate itself.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Letting it alleviate itself to a certain extent. One, you got to give yourself reasons why. Because you know what? We adults. You are an adult. I'm an adult. You can do what you want to do. I can do what I want to do. As long as it's not bringing any harm to the next individual in the world, it really don't
Mm.
matter what I do. You know what I mean?
Mm.
But if I
Yeah.
give myself a bona fide reasons, Quan, like I said, when I stopped smoking cigarettes, you know what I mean? I was smoking since at the age of 16. I'm 43. So therefore I smoked for 43 years. I mean, for 25 years. You understand?
Yeah.
So one day I was walking down the street about to go get me a pack of cigarettes, and I thought about how much I spend on cigarettes. Cigarettes in here, I mean, in New York, up the official price is like 13, 14, $15, which is absurd. You know what I mean? They make it $100 and see if people would buy it. But if you go to like the bootleg store, you can get it for $9. So I actually did the mathematical, the equation in my head. I said, okay, 9 times 7 is 63, because I was a pack a day smoker. 63 plus 63 is 126, right?
Mm-hmm.
126, that's 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So for the whole month, I'm spending about $250 on cigarettes. So at that point right there, I planted the seed on, damn, how is this habit affecting my life?
Mm-hmm.
And what else you have to bring into the equation? Is it affecting others in my life that I love? These cigarettes are taken away from my family. Okay, they're taken from, other than the health implications, they're taken away from my family's. That 250 can go into the stock market for my children. You understand? As you know, I'm a big stock investor. So that 250 that I'm spending, $250 comes up to $2,800 a year.
Wow.
I'm sorry, 3,000 a year. 3,000. It comes up to $3,000 that I'm not investing in the stock market that's going to be left for my kids' legacy. So I did all that in a matter of 5 minutes. When walking down the street. And I'm not going to say I stopped there, because you know what? I physically still wasn't ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as God would have it, my wife walked into to a pharmacy to get some medication for her father. She took a long time. She came out and said, "Hey, what took you so long?" She said, "Damn, this lady was online trying to get her Nicorette gum." I said, "Nicorette gum? What's that?" "I know what it is, but what is it?" She said, "You know what it is, the gum that help people stop smoking." I said, "You know what? Let me try it." And here I am 6 months later.
Wow.
Since that day. So you see how I basically allowed it to cure itself.
Yeah.
Usually when we are really aggressive with our bad habits, it doesn't work to alleviate it. You know what I'm saying? It's like we have to basically have a reason, have faith in it, and allow it to work ourselves out. And the world, the universe will show us, will give us, if you believe in God and you're a spiritual being as I am, God will give you, he will give you the plan in front of your face. Now it's on you to utilize it. So he gave it to me. I didn't have to listen to my wife when she said that. Let's say she said that and I said, get in the car.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But I did. It was a sign. I took it as a sign like, oh, my wife had no idea that 2 days ago I said I need to stop. She had no idea of that. So she just was, but I knew. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
here I'm 6 months free from smoking. You know what I mean? I didn't say, hey, you know what? On July 1st, I'm going to stop. That's a lie. No, I'm not. What? It's as cliche as the thought of Christmas. Like we said in previous podcasts. Why am I going to wait to December 25th to give a loved one something I feel like they need? Why would I do that? Why would I wait to January 1st to stop or start something that's important to me? Why would I do that logically?
Right.
Why would I? Hey.
I do agree that, to break a habit, it does, you do have to start with a thought. And the thing about New Year's resolutions is that because of New Year's coming, that's what sparks the thought. And you have to think about it first. You have to really, like you said, like what you did, you really have to just pause for a minute and kind of just do the math and start figuring it out. And that's when you realize that, okay, I want to stop smoking. So I think between December and January, that's when people start getting those thoughts like, okay, the New Year's coming, this is a bad habit, I need to end it. And that's great. And that's what needs to happen. And it's okay that it's the new year that causes that to happen, that causes you to have that thought. But what becomes problematic is when that thought is not planned out, it's short-lived. The idea just pops in your head to say, hey, let me change this, let me change that. But you didn't put any plans in place to make it happen. You just thought because it's a new year, you're going to be a completely different person. No, you're not. And not if you've been the same person that you have been for 20 plus years. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So
I'm sorry to cut you off. It's the habit thing is a paradox. You know what I'm saying? We have to look at it that way. And I've said in other previous podcasts that, you know, anything is possible other than you living forever. So anything you think of in your life can be perceived another way. Anything.
Right.
And the breaking the habit is too. When I think about breaking a habit, you know what? I have to look at it this way. It makes it easier. Quan, you're not strong enough to break it on your own. Quan, you are strong enough to break it on your own. I'm both. Because at that point with the cigarette smoking, I'm not strong enough because my body, cigarettes have become a medication for me.
Mm-hmm.
You used to take in a medication to survive. That's what cigarettes becomes to a smoker. It's a medication. But then on the other hand, Quan, at one point in time, you didn't smoke. You know what I mean? So you don't need it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a paradox. But if you look at it one way, you're going to fail. If I say, I got this, I can definitely stop smoking, it's not going to happen. Or if I say, you know what, damn, I really can't stop smoking, it's not going to happen. But if I look at it both ways and say, you know what, I'm kind of not strong enough to stop. But you know what, I am a little, I think I can though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I address it from both angles, I'm crying, I'm catty cornering it. I'm pigeonholing the habit itself because I'm addressing from both angles. If you address a person in a rigid way, you're not going to win. Okay. Mm-hmm. We have to treat people, and it's just an analogy. You have to treat people balanced. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, if someone that you love is acting up on one side of the coin, you got to let them know. But on the other side, you got to have a little bit more empathy for them if you want the relationship to keep on.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you can't just say, you know what I mean? I'm not dealing with you. That's it. Relationship over. Or you can't just allow them to keep messing up. You know what I mean? The relationship is not going to progress. So you have to address it from both sides of the table. And I'm saying, I think the same thing with habits. You got to look at it like, you know what? I'm not strong enough. But on the other hand, I am strong enough.
Right. I mean, nothing in life is linear. Nothing in life is linear. So you have to look at all sides of just about anything. Right. So okay, even though we agree that New Year's resolutions are cliche.
Right.
Well, I think, you know what, I think the idea is cool, but the execution is what's cliche about it. Right. So given the idea of New Year's resolution, do you have one?
Do I have see, you know what? Now I don't agree with the idea being, you know, feasible. I think the idea of it is what actually makes it, you know, unmanageable. Because now I feel like I have something to live up to.
Well, you know, if you don't have a resolution, you don't have a resolution, and that's it.
Right.
Like, I mean, the fact. Okay, I guess you're right because you asked about. Huh?
I used to be one of those people with resolutions, and I failed at it because I think the thought process behind it, that's all it was. Like as we said in previous podcasts, you know what I mean? You could be a loved one, and if I'm getting you something on Christmas just because it's Christmas and there's no love behind it, what does that gift really mean?
Right.
You understand? So if I'm just saying, hey, let's create a resolution just because January 1st is coming, what does that really mean? Like, I think just the thought of a resolution, like, what am I, if this enters my brain, Miss Portia Mystique, that I have an issue of some sort that I want to alleviate, or I want to begin, as you said, why not take the necessary process and procedure to eliminate it? And now maybe I'll be starting on December 26th as opposed to giving it a date. What? Why? So if the beginning of the year was November 13th, I'll say, hey, you know what? My resolution is on 13th. Basically, as you can see, I'm a person that I don't like the system or society or things that have manifested itself without me knowing why to have control over me. Who made this up? Who created this? You know what I mean? When people say to me, hey, I'm doing this, and I say, why? Well, that's the way it should be done. Who says? Who told you that? Mama told you that? Or you read that in a book? Let's say the person you are following is wrong. What's your take now? You're a puppet. Okay? You're a puppet. Okay? stand up to yourself, not people. Stand up to yourself. Like say, hey, I'm doing this now. I don't care if they say, like it's basically taking control over it's having free will. You know what I mean? I'm
Mm-hmm.
not doing this because they say that this is how it should be done.
Right.
Let's say they were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
So if it's about it, so like, okay, the whole point of New Year's resolution is to become a better person. But like you're saying, the point is you could become a better person starting now, starting tomorrow. You don't need to wait till the new year to how would we say reinvent yourself.
God bless you.
And
God bless
that's an aspect of New Year's resolution I think is crazy that so many people want to reinvent themselves for the new year. Like in the new not small resolutions like losing weight or quitting this or starting that. But I mean some people want to really just say, I'm gonna be this new person. Like, okay, this last year I was just sad, I was depressed the whole year. So next year I'm gonna make sure that I'm just chipper and I'm happier and I'm more positive. Like those are major changes that people are attempting to make for the coming year. And but like while I get what you're saying, I still feel like the idea is okay. Not the date that you're choosing it, but the idea that you're unhappy with something in your life,
you. Okay, that's good. You're right. I
right?
agree.
And you want to change it. But
Right.
because you're locked into the system, you know, you have this habit that you can only do that towards the end of the year. So you will allow yourself to go through the whole year being moody or depressed or whatever the issue was. But once it gets to that, we get to the end of the year, society says, oh, it's time to rethink. You know, it's like starting with a clean slate. The whole idea of having a clean slate at the end of something. You know, you look at why we have that idea, because I remember being in school, right? You're in school, every school year has semesters.
Right.
And at the end of the semester, you try to hurry up, get everything fixed. So when the new semester starts, you start off fresh. You
Right.
know, you have a clean slate. So you learn that at a young age. So by the time you become an adult, you're looking for that semester in life. Like, dang, I screwed up this semester. So we're at the end now. Next semester, I want to start with a clean slate. And I think that's the same idea that is formed for New Year's resolution. Like it's to have that clean slate. So we need an end date to end the madness, especially in 2020. Like, okay, the year 2020 was a disaster, right? And so it's crazy that everybody thinks 2021 is going to be a better year. You don't know that. We are still dealing with coronavirus. January 1st is going to come. Coronavirus ain't going to be gone. It's still going to be here. But it's so programmed into us to have an end point, an end date for something. So when that end comes, we can start fresh. We can have a whole new something, a new cycle, a clean slate. And I think that's what New Year's is. So I understand the idea. While I think it's insane, and I do think it's very systematic, you know, it's brainwashing to a point, but regardless, it is still instilled in many people that way. And therefore, if you're going to run with it, run with it. But you just have to understand that you're probably going to fail because you're not doing it right.
Well, well put. I totally agree with everything you said. People have this notion to change, and change is a good thing. It
Mhm.
can be, like I said, everything can be looked at, both ways. You
Right.
know, people want to change. Know why? Because they're striving for perfection. That's absolutely absurd. And that in itself, that striving for perfection, that could taint your journey. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And I mean, this is now I'm putting like kind of my counselor hat on. They say practice makes perfect. That's wrong. You will never be perfect. Understanding that from the gates frees yourself of being yourself and gracefully proceeding
Mhm.
with your act of changing. Me striving to be perfect, you know what that means? Even when I'm doing well, I'm not going to give myself a pat on the back. Okay? And I'm an advocate and a proponent of people patting themselves on the back, Miss Portia Mystique. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
I want people to learn how to not need others to pat them on their back, not need others to say, hey, Quan John, you're doing a great job. If I get used to that right there, that means I'm really not doing a good job within myself. Why? Because if I don't hear that, I'm going to feel bad about myself. But if I get used to Quan John doing this to himself, you know, Quan, you're doing all right, man. When it does come and it is sad, great. It feels good. Cool. But if it doesn't, I don't need it anyway because I've done it already.